What's up guys, Son Jetzu here, and today I wanted to go ahead and talk about colonization in Total War. And I wanted to go ahead and start off by saying that colonization in itself has not been one of the shining aspects of history. It's not one of those things that you look back fondly on for the most part. It is a period of history for many countries, normally the ones being colonized, that is usually filled with dread, sadness, sorrow, anger, a bunch of different types of emotions that come with it. So it's not one of those things that should be basically taken lightly. That's not what I'm talking about in this video at all. In this video I'm talking about a video game that's called Total War, as many of you guys know, and I'm talking about colonization and how it could be implemented in a Total War game if the Total War game was set during the time that colonization was real big. Say the Victorian age, around the 1800s, mid to late 1800s, beginning of 1900s. Colonization was one of those things that really pushed the major European players into becoming full superpowers, controlling huge, vast regions of lands that were not anywhere near Europe. Some were in Asia, a lot of them were in Africa. There was a race to Africa, trying to take all the riches that Africa had to offer. As we know, the Spaniards took over all of the New World essentially. They got there first, they took it first. So we've seen sort of the effects of colonization, or at least the characters that played in some of these eras, in full force, I guess, in some of the other Total War games. But I feel like if we had a Victorian Total War, this would be one of those things that I really would like to see in the game. I think it would be, again, not making lightly, but I think it would be really fun and really interesting gameplay wise to be one of these major European powers and having them be colonizing certain areas of the world that would show active resistance against the colonization or the taking of their resources, and then, you know, for your European power to implement reforms and social policies in these areas to either suppress, assimilate, or destroy the local population. I think that would be pretty interesting, especially gameplay wise. Now, the reason I started looking into this is because I've been reading up on the Anglo-Zulu War in my spare time, and it's extremely interesting. I think it's fascinating when guns meet not guns, when guns meet harpoons and you know, spears and bows and arrows. That's usually really interesting to me, you know, that kind of contrast. And we got that again somewhat with the with Fall of the Samurai. And so, I mean, Anglo-Zulu War is not going to be a Total War game on its own. It's not going to be its own thing, unless there's only two ways that it might happen. Unless they make a historical Total War game that is a Total War game that has different chapters and different eras, different wars, different time periods of the world, which, I mean, it's a video on its own, that kind of topic. But for the most part, I'm talking about it more likely if there was an Empire Total War or Empire 2 Total War, say a Victoria Total War, then it would be something that you could just play on there, trying to colonize Africa and meeting the natives and, you know, dealing with the natives in whichever way, I guess, European powers, you know, sought at it being more profitable. Or you could have it as an expansion to something else. I mean, that's the only real way I can think of. Maybe like a sort of like a Kingdoms expansion. But I think it would be pretty interesting to have it in the game. There's a lot of areas in history that are kind of rough, for people who, you know, for people who you know, whose ancestors lived through those histories. And so, you know, it's not something that should be taken lightly. But I just wanted to see what you guys thought of how it could be implemented in the Total War game. Say if it was a Total War game like a Victoria Age Total War game or something along those lines. And I don't know, I thought that'd be interesting. That'd be fun. I think it'd be pretty cool to be playing as one of these tribes or you know, kind of indigenous people that are trying to get these Europeans off their land. Something similar to what they did in Kingdoms when you played again with the Aztec or the Mayans against the Spaniards. Something along those lines. I think that'd be pretty interesting. But anyway, guys, let me know in the comment section below what you guys think of this idea and what you guys think of colonization on its own. If you know, is it too much of a touchy thing, or if not? It probably isn't, honestly. I'm just probably making too much of a deal on it. But I know like certain places did get, you know, heavily colonized. Like Britain took over all of India, and you know, Great Britain took over a good portion of China. So you know, it's one of those things that is touchy, but again, historically accurate, and it would be kind of interesting to play. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Drop me a like. Let's see if we get our 50 likes for this video. And as always, this is going to be Jetzu signing off.